One Nation, One Poll has been approved by the Union Cabinet. My colleague Brijesh Pandey joining us live. Brijesh, it does look like that big announcement is likely to be now implemented. One Nation, One Poll is going to be the reality.
Well, one thing is there, Shweta, that the government is following up on what it was expected at the start of the winter session when they say that it will be approved by the cabinet. The big breaking news which is coming in is that the cabinet has approved One Nation, One Poll, on which the BJP, especially Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has been talking about for the last 7-8 years now. The BJP is keen to make sure that, that there's one election across the country, and all the elections, be it legislative or municipal or the national election, all of them have to be conducted at one time, because the BJP, especially Prime Minister, feels that this will lead to a lot of saving of time. There will be no unnecessarily delay because the second code of conduct gets implemented for a particular duration of a month, more than a month. There could be no independent work, or no work can be undertaken or be done on the ground. So they are saying that this will save the country a lot of money, lot of time frame as far as taking country to another level is concerned. This has been the argument put forward by the Bharatiya Janata Party, by the Prime Minister and other senior cabinet ministers as well. So the cabinet has approved One Nation, One Poll. What we have been given to understand is that this approval after this will go to a Joint Parliamentary Committee, because the government doesn't want this to have a stamp on only the BJP or the NDA allies, because there has been a lot of challenges posed to this particular bill. The opposition has been criticizing that the government wants to derail democracy, and since the system has worked fine till now, there's absolutely no need to fix the system which is already not only working but thriving. So there's a lot of back and forth as far as the government and the opposition is concerned on this One Nation, One Poll. But the big news is that that Narendra Modi cabinet has approved One Nation, One Poll. Shweta?
In fact, One Nation, One Poll, the recommendation of the high-level committee for holding simultaneous polls for Lok Sabha, state assemblies, local bodies in a phased manner, that recommendation was accepted by the government in September. We're now given to understand, in a big move, the Union Cabinet today has approved One Nation, One Election. The government is also likely to bring a comprehensive bill on the same in the ongoing winter session of the Parliament. That is also what we're given to understand. Brijesh, winter session of the Parliament essentially means in the next couple of days, perhaps, if a comprehensive bill goes through Lok Sabha, a One Nation, One Poll could be a reality as soon as next year.
Well, I think, what we've been gathering from our sources is that the One Nation, One Poll bill is likely to go to a JPC, because, the government wants wider consultation on this and want to incorporate what all the other opposition party has to say, other senior leaders have to say on this particular bill, because they want to, make sure that the bill has acceptance from cutting across party line, and that is the reason why, there's likelihood that this bill will first go to JPC, and after that it will be sent back to the houses. But yes, I mean, if you look at the time span of 2 months, 3 months, I think in the first half of 2025, the likelihood of One Nation, One Poll becoming a reality is pretty much understandable. Shweta?
Okay. Brijesh, for someone who's been covering elections, I believe, for over 2 decades now, in your assessment, what will this entail? If we were to break it down for our viewers, we know currently there are simultaneous elections for state assemblies, for the union government. If there were to be one election throughout, the process obviously will be perhaps less cumbersome, as government points out, will ensure that there is less money spent, and perhaps just once and done and dusted for. What sort of changes are we likely to see if this were to be implemented?
Well, the jury is clearly divided on this, Shweta. If you look at the BJP's argument, what they say is that One Nation, One Poll will make sure that all the elections happen at one point of time. There'll be no repeated, that one election is happening in Delhi right now, the other election after 6 months is happening in Mumbai, and then, later on in Bangalore. So they're saying that in one go, all the elections will be done. The government will be saving a lot on infrastructural push, which gets stuck whenever the code of conduct is there, and you cannot take any decision decision vis-a-vis any of the projects which are to be implemented. They're saying we save a lot of money, and the nation is not always in an election mode. Once the election is done, you are kind of, settled as far as the next 5 years is concerned. The opposition is saying that, that the system which is right now, which is there in the country, there's nothing wrong with it. They say that, what will happen if, suppose, for example, a government in Uttar Pradesh falls, or government in Maharashtra, or government in any other part of the country falls before the stipulated time. Then how do you go about it? Do you curtail the period of 5 years in that particular case? How do you curtail it? Or do you, and how will you, immediately hold the election at that point of time? Won't that fly in the face of one nation, one poll gig which is being promoted by the government? So, there are a lot of, back and forth on this, and you see there's a clear division between the Congress and the other opposition party and the BJP. The opposition also say that, that if one person is a very popular person, referring to Prime Minister only, that, if a very popular person, and there's a kind of, a wave in favor of you as far as Lok Sabha is concerned, the chances of that wave impacting the Vidhan Sabha as well as the municipal elections will also be there. And they say that this will give an unfair advantage to one particular political party if they are in the power. And they say that is the reason why there are several checks and balances. You have a different sway of emotions when general elections are heard, and you have a different sway of emotions working and issues working for you when a Vidhan Sabha elections are heard.
Absolutely.
So, I think, once it goes to the JPC, will be very interesting to see what all objection comes forward by the opposition party.